everything changes.
Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful Sunday. And I want to talk to you guys about VAs, better known virtual assistants. Everybody asks about it. And what is a virtual assistant? Are they good? What should you pay them? How much? Is it worth it? Just overall, my take on hiring somebody that's not with you, near you as an employee to do work for you. So the title of this video is correct in most cases. I think virtual assistants are a waste and not the proper way to do business. Now, there are times and models and ways and things that make sense for virtual assistants, and I'll talk about those in a second. But let's talk about why I think for the majority of my audience who are eBay, Poshmark, Amazon sellers, etc., that virtual assistants, for the most part, with the exception of a few things, like I said, are a waste of your money and you should do it a different way. So, listing on eBay, let's start with that. People pay virtual assistants to list on eBay for them. The problem is if somebody is in the Philippines or India or Korea or wherever they are, and let's just say I'm in Florida, let's say I'm hiring somebody from California to be my virtual assistant, to be my eBay lister. I have to go buy the merchandise, photograph it, measure it, detail, all of this work, then send all of that over to the virtual assistant in a Dropbox or an email or whatever it is. And I've now done at least 60% of the work, right? I bought the merchandise, I prepped it, I photographed it, I measured it, I got all the details and the information. Is it a 3-inch heel or a 2-inch? Is it a DVD or a PlayStation game? Is it a flare leg or a bell bottom? Whatever it is, I've gotten all this information. I've taken the time to type it all out, put it all in a notepad or description, and then send it over to my virtual assistant so they can make the listing. Didn't I just make the listing? Didn't I just do all the work? Why didn't I just finish it? What did I pay them for? To put what I just put down on paper or notepad or electronics into the listing? I'll do it myself, thanks. The only way it makes sense is if you hire somebody, all of a sudden my employee comes strolling in and they sit down, he or she sits down next to me, and I say, hey, for the first week, I'm gonna train you how to do all this. And they sit down, they start doing it all. And then Monday morning, next week, they show up, and they go off in the corner to their desk or take their stuff home and they list it all on their own, and I don't have to be bothered. If I have to stop to do all of this work that I'm paying somebody else to do, then there's no point in me stopping what I'm doing, right? I might as well just do it myself, or I might as well, what's the point, right? Like, there's no point to it. And so you gotta have somebody local. And we talked about it in my last video live where I talked about growing, expanding, scaling your business and hiring people. My advice is hire somebody local. Now let's talk about, hiring a VA to do work that does make sense, which I mentioned. So Poshmark, again, if you're gonna pay somebody to list for you on Poshmark, that's silly. I think it's a complete waste of time and money. But if you wanna pay somebody to share for you, that's okay. Now, caution, most of the people, I didn't say all, most of the VAs offering Poshmark share services are using a bot or a software or a program which was supposed to be against Poshmark terms of service, TOS. Now, how do I know that? Because some of them were offering to do like 3,000 shares in 30 seconds. It's simply just not possible. Not to mention I knew a bunch of people using Poshbots, and I tracked them, and literally it would share like the same pair of jeans over and over 100 times, and it was obvious. So if you're hiring a VA, make sure that it makes sense for Posh sharing and that you're okay with them manually sharing for you and paying whatever that is, or that if they're using a bot, that you understand that they're using a bot and you understand what goes along with that. I'm not condoning somebody using a bot. I'm just saying understand that most of them are. And that if you find somebody that's manually doing it, then you'll know, you'll be able to prove it, and you'll be able to tell, and based on what you're paying. So just use some common sense. I still wouldn't pay somebody to do Posh sharing. I would pay an employee who is going about the regular day of her business and her work to share on the side, like to sit and share at some point during the day. But I would rather, if I'm gonna pay somebody to work on Posh, I'd rather than just keep listing new inventory, because honestly, listing new inventory is gonna result in more sales than sharing more. Sharing helps, and of course that's an important part, but listing more is definitely way more important. I'd rather have somebody list 1,000 pieces a month and only get to share a couple hundred rather than list a couple hundred and share thousands of times. Trust me, you'll sell more in this path. So that's when a VA can be good, is if you're paying them to manually share. There's other things. If you want a VA to manually edit your YouTube videos or create a graphic design, there's a ton of things. I use Fiverr all the time. I use other websites like Fiverr, you know, the pay as you go work thing all the time. There's plenty of things. But as far as our reselling business goes, to list things, to photograph, if you find yourself doing X portion of the work to send it to a VA, then you are wasting time and money. And I know a lot of people are gonna have an opinion down in the comments, but I'm telling you that you need to hire an employee local to you to cut out more of that time out of your schedule so that you don't have to do it. Or you need to reevaluate having a VA and a virtual assistant to begin with. And this is gonna be my unpopular opinion of this video. I think the word VA and virtual assistant got popular as like a buzzword that a lot of popular YouTubers and social media people started just, I got a VA, I got a VA. And then it just became a thing to get a VA, just to have a VA. And people didn't even understand what they were paying for, how much they were spending, what the VA was doing, how to monitor them, how to track them. They just, oh, well, my favorite so-and-so uses a VA, so I need to use a VA. Stop. Make sure you understand what you're doing before you do it. This also goes along with the whole people were deleting their solds from eBay. They didn't even know why they were deleting their solds from eBay. They just saw it on YouTube, and so they started doing it. And then they realized, like, wait, why am I doing this? This doesn't make sense. So just understand why you're getting the VA. And in my opinion, there's no part of my business that needs a VA. If I need employees, I'm gonna hire somebody right here, right on my local place. And people are like, oh, well, you'll save a ton of money hiring a $3 an hour Philippines VA. You know what? I'll pay my employee $10 or $12 an hour. I know it's 3 times, 4 times that, but the time I'm spending helping them get all their stuff together is equivalent to what I'm probably not even equivalent to the extra money I'm gonna spend paying an employee locally who I can trust, who can be there. If you work out of your house, you don't want them coming to your house, then you need to get an office or a storage unit, or have them pick up the merchandise on Monday once you get to the point of trusting them, take it home, list it all, bring it back, right? If they're close enough. And so that's the way that I've seen a lot of people do it. And that's my recommendations for virtual assistants. So I'd like to hear your input, your opinions. Feel free to put them down in the comment section. Be respectful to my channel, myself, and of course the other folks that are commenting. But let's hear it. Let's see what you guys have to say about virtual assistants. How much do you pay? Where did you get them from? What do they do for you? What's the breakdown? As much information as you feel comfortable putting, go ahead and put it down there in the comment section, and I'd love to read them. I'll respond to as many as possible. And as always, thank you guys for watching the channel. I appreciate it. Glad to be back on here. I have a lot of great videos coming out. Hopefully everyone's staying safe, making money. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, comment section or my email, rockstarflipper@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more important videos. I have some great ones coming. And until next time, I'll see you guys then.